Hey, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. This is Steve Peck with Apex Marketing, and we're going to talk today about really if your LinkedIn profile is costing you business. You really know, and we all know this, that you only get one chance to make a great first impression. So just while people are signing in so far this morning, let's go ahead and see about maybe checking on a poll here. And get that launched. There we go. So we want to find out from everyone as we're getting logged in, if you could just take a look at the poll that's showing up on your screen and answer one of these questions. Is your profile, LinkedIn profile, a lead magnet, lead attraction magnet? Is it professional, but you're not sure if it's working? Does it need work, or does it need a makeover? And it's a little embarrassing. So one of those probably relates to how you view your profile. So why don't you take a couple minutes and just go through that, give it a quick answer, and we'll keep moving. One of the things we know is that just in society in general today, people are faced with a huge amount of choices. Just like this little kid here, he's gone out to the pumpkin patch and mom has said to him, "Hey, Johnny, pick out the pumpkin you want." And Johnny's kind of looking back like, "Mom, how do I know the difference? How do I know which pumpkin to pick?" Happens to all of us probably all the time. Here, this is kind of like me, this guy with his back to us. At the store looking for lettuce, my wife had sent me to get a bag of freshly cut up lettuce. And I'm looking at those bags and they kind of all look the same to me. So whether we're shopping for the lettuce in a store, whether we're shopping for toothpaste or any other item where there's a lot of choices, we're really stuck by not knowing which to choose, given the the brands just kind of all blend together. If there's nothing that makes them stick out, how we choose becomes somewhat of a guessing game, right? It's kind of like potluck. And we know that when people are given too many choices, that users just don't choose at all. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, when we go on LinkedIn, one of the questions comes, and with your profile, this is really the question about, are you losing business, is how do you stand out in a crowd with your LinkedIn profile? Can people look at your profile and do they see you as being unique, different, providing them value? That's what it is that's going to have people attracted to you. So we want to take a look at that, right? Now, if we just follow the directions that LinkedIn gives you when you're building your profile is going to end up being one of the masses. It's going to look just like everyone else's profile, and it's not really going to be designed to attract people to you. It's going to go back to, some people still even think of LinkedIn as kind of the online resume service as it was back when it first started several years ago. Your profile is kind of going to be like your online resume. That's not what we want to do here. We want to turn our LinkedIn profile into a lead magnet, something that's going to be pulling prospects to us, helping us sell our prospects, condition our prospects, getting them ready to do business with us. And ultimately, the system that I use mostly is designed around filling your calendar with people who are qualified leads for you to speak with. I just gave you an example of someone today, both qualified lead for me, generated from LinkedIn, and how we could maybe help him. He is interested in beginning a restaurant and bar or a club, right? He wants to start a club, and he's kind of asking me, like, what could we do? Well, ultimately what we could do, if we look at the results we'd want to produce for someone like that, we'd want to have qualified candidates, people who might be interested in the bar and restaurant business, in his profile or in his list of contacts, right? So we'd want them on his, and ultimately we'd want them showing up on his calendar. So that's what we want. Now, I did just to kind of look and say, like, what's the challenge you're differentiating yourself, or how big is the obstacle? I did a little survey of I just did some research on LinkedIn, and this is based on my profile. Different time we'll talk about how these numbers are really sort of a function of your own profile and who you're connected to. But this will give us what we need in order to have this discussion. So I go on LinkedIn, I do a search for a lawyer, and I get 387,000 lawyers come up. I do a search for a CPA, I get 971,000 CPAs. I do a search for business owner, I get 11,824,000. It's 11,824,000 entrepreneurs. I get 427,000 profiles come back. President of a company, I get 6,011,000 people come back, their profiles as their presidents. Financial advisor, 403,000. A doctor, I was actually surprised to find this many doctors on LinkedIn online, 451,000. In real estate, one of the things a lot of people would want to try to use LinkedIn for, there's 6,358,000 realtors came back into my profile. Now, that gives us really a challenge. How are we going to differentiate ourselves from our numbers? So when we look, you put in your job title in there, people looking for someone who does what you do, how many people are going to come back, and how do you stand out from that crowd? That's one of the key things, right? So let's just, as a little bit of background, take a look at this. This is actually a survey that Google did, or a study that Google did, that takes a look at your profile and people's eye movement. So when the Google page comes up, what this tells us is, this is called a heat map. It shows us, based on the colors, what is, where people's eyes move. And we see the first thing they do is, the hot spots are the upper left-hand corner. You see the red there, and people's kind of eyes go there, down and across, right? So, but the upper left-hand corner is critical. Now, when you look at your profile on LinkedIn, what shows up in that upper left-hand corner, well, I'm just going to let you do that. I'm going to let you open up your profile, go there, and you can type in the chat box the answer to what is it that shows up in the upper left-hand corner. We want to see that, okay? Now, let's just dig right into LinkedIn and get started, okay? Well, the first place is when you first log into LinkedIn, and I'm actually going to log in. So we're going to jump out of here, the presentation, the slides for a second. But when we jump into LinkedIn, one of the things that we see is that is here. So this is my LinkedIn profile. I've logged in, and what we see right away, upper left-hand corner, first there's me, right? And then under me is, now this is what's coming back. So we got David Tang here. He shows up first. And David, there's his profile picture. It's not bad. And we see that he's the founder of Flevy.com, the marketplace for business frameworks and guidance. I think that's what that says. And we'll just scroll down a little bit there, and we see Villanova University shows up. That we see that Barb Schweck shows up, and she's an executive coach, speaker, and author. Right now, we're going to talk more about this in a minute. And just so you know, there's something else you can do. When you're looking at these profiles, something that you can do is you can change the view. So we're going to change this. We're going to look at the most recent things, right? So it gives us, this is a plus. This is actually a woman who does work for me. Joelle, she actually does a lot of my accounting work, so she has a post out there today. And we just go through here, and that's what we see. But the very first thing we see here in your news feed is the person's picture, their name, and their title, right? So we get picture, name, and title. It's pretty critical. Now, when we continue on looking at that, we find that it continues on inside of LinkedIn. So let's jump to another place now. I want to see, what are you seeing? Where is this information showing up? So if we go here to another big area people use on LinkedIn is who's looked at my profile, right? So it's two things. For some reason, they've come and they've gone to look at your profile, and a lot of people will come to this area because they want to see who's looked at them. So when we open that up, we see that, and we'll come back up to the things for a minute. Here are the, here's the first group that shows up, people who've looked at my profile. And we see Fred here. Now, Fred, he's helping organizations of all sizes realize a greater ROI from people and themselves. Now, Fred's a client of mine, so I'm actually happy, one, to see that he's looked at my profile, and two, that he's rewritten his title. And why? And you'll see as we go down there. We'll go through these. Now we have T. T, she's a financial service professional helping middle-class clients achieve financial goals through custom something, right? Now, she's, again, that's pretty good. Both of these are pretty good, telling us a little bit about the value that they're going to give us. Then we have John. John's director of marketing, and anyways, he's director of marketing. Now, interesting here for John, his profile title right here, this profile title doesn't, in my estimation, pass what's called the so what test. I don't mean that we flip. The so what test is really something that copywriters use. It goes a long time back when they were writing display ads and classified ads and things like that in the newspaper. The so what test was when somebody writes something down and you read it, what's the answer to the so what? So when we read this, the director of marketing, it's kind of so what? Like when we put in director of marketing, let's just do that. Put in director of marketing and see what we get. Okay, so we do that, and as we come down through here, maybe we're not looking at people. Let's make sure we get people. Hopefully you're paying attention as I go through this. Some of the things that you can do to actually control what you're seeing yourself on LinkedIn when you're using it. So now we've looked at director of marketing. Okay, we've got James, director of marketing. Rich, people director, great. We've got Wendy, marketing director. We've got Linda, she's marketing director. We've got Dana, director of communications. So we go through all of these. None of them, right? Those are definitely not telling us anything about what they really do. These all really could use a little work around what they do for people so that you have an idea. So if you want to stand out, you want to have your value show up as being, you want to tell people what it is that you can do. So that's one of the things. Now, let's go back real quick, and I'm going to close this down. I just want to look here. This also shows up on this profile page, and I just want to make this point while we're here, that you'll see this is from my profile. I had 909 views in the last 90 days, right? Now, you'll see my views were up pretty high, then they really dropped off. They took a nosedive. The point of this is, I was gone. I was out of the country. I wasn't really active on LinkedIn. And you'll see that my activity level went down to 0. Consequently, the people who were looking at my profile also went down to 0. What that really says to us is consistency counts. Being on LinkedIn, looking at people's profiles, doing the activities that cause engagement on LinkedIn, create activity around you, and helps you, one, show up in the search engines, show up on people's who's looked at my profile, and helps you engage them through several other areas. We can talk about that later, but it gives you an engagement with them so that they're likely to then, one, put you top of mind, and two, reach out to you. And again, this really all feeds into the system that I really teach people, which is how do you fill your calendar with appointments with qualified prospects. That's ultimately our goal. But before we can get to that goal, and I guess that's the point here, before we can get to that goal, we really need to be able to define who it is that we want to speak with, right? And we need to get our basics picked up. So when sometimes I think about this in this way, LinkedIn is like getting a fishing license. So when you get a LinkedIn account, it's like having a fishing license. Now, with your license, you have some tools. You need, what do you need? You need a fishing pole, and you need some bait, right? And you need to know where to fish. So the fishing pole is kind of like your profile, and the bait. Those two things kind of go together. And if you've got the wrong kind of pole or the wrong kind of bait, you're not going to get very good results. So let's say we're going fishing in the ocean. We want to go fishing for marlin, and you've got worms. Chances are you're not going to catch any marlin, right? And if well, anyways, that's just it. So it's got to match. Your bait and your market have to match. Your target market and your bait have to match. And all of this and your message, right, all has to match up so that the people who you want to be attracted to you are the ones who are looking at you. Now, this is an example of someplace else your profile information shows up in the search results. So just like I typed in there into the search bar, and we went down and looked at those director of marketing jobs, this is the same kind of search. This is a search for marketer, and there were, I think, 141,000 results. So a little more focused group. This is a group you would expect to have some pretty good profile descriptions. And the reason I wanted you to see this is I wanted you to see what it is that the person who's using LinkedIn, what do they see? They see your picture, they see your name, and they see your headline. That headline where it says marketer of meatballs at IKEA. That's only interesting because I can't imagine, I've never really met a marketer of meatballs at IKEA before, I guess, other than if I was at IKEA. But that's kind of interesting only because that in itself is unique, right? But when you look at Donna's. Donna, again, this is nothing personal about these people, especially some of these people are going to be people that I know. Donna's a digital marketer, doesn't pass the so what test. Chris is a digital marketing coordinator or consultant, doesn't really pass the so what test. Although it does say who helps senior management executives in Fortune 500 and mid-market companies. Now, I guess that's beginning to pass the test because it provides achievable results. That's pretty good. So if we were to continue down that page, just blew this up a little bit so you could see it better. Most of these people have their headlines. There's their picture. Pictures are okay, and most of these people, theirs are okay. But their title, this is real estate right here, right? Real estate online, that heading. where it says, in Amanda's case, the corporate marketer. That line, you know, she can type anything she wants in there and it'll show up. And on those two lines, she's kind of wasting it. So's Melissa, so's Megan, so's Kelly, so's Chad. They're all kind of wasting that space in terms of marketing. This is where your headline goes, just like you were doing an ad. This is kind of your headline for you. Now I pulled some up so that we could take a closer look at them, and let's take a real quick look. Now here's Jennifer. Jennifer is a recruiter, and she matches professionals with their passions. So if you were someone who was interested in finding a job, I'd be interested in talking to Jennifer and see if she could help me, because she's going to match me up with a job that matches my passion. Now, if I'm looking to hire people, I'm also going to be interested in Jennifer, because she's finding people, right, who are passionate about the position that I have. So that's really great. So that's cool. And now we take a look at Greg. Greg, I'm not 100% liking the sketch here, but it's good. Stands out. I guess I'm not opposed to it. So I'm going to say that. But he's a business intelligence strategist and solution delivery leader. Doesn't tell me anything. Right? Doesn't tell us a thing. Now we look at Bob or Robert. Robert's a VP associate broker at the Cochran Group Real Estate. Awesome. Doesn't tell me a thing. Doesn't tell me what he does. Why do I want to know him? What is he going to do for me? Now, these are the kind of guys I love. We got James here. James is an entrepreneur. I don't know if he's hiding or what, but he doesn't even have a picture on here. Neither does Anthony. He's a financial advisor. If Anthony wants me to, wants us all to like entrust our life savings with him, but I don't know if he thinks his, his profile picture looks like a mugshot or what, but it doesn't give us a lot of confidence that he's the right guy for that. And then we look at Tom. Tom's another financial advisor. And the only thing we can tell from this is, one, he skis, right? Great. So name's okay. Heading, not so great, right? Doesn't really tell us anything that would make him stand out. And we see skiing. Now, not a bad picture. Probably belongs on Facebook. And here's the thing. Here's a guy's a financial advisor. He could sit next to his, he could have season tickets at a ball game next to me, right? I wouldn't know him. His kids could be in the same kind of activities my kids are in. I could see him all the time. I wouldn't know it's him. Any number of activities, he could go to church with me. I wouldn't know it because I can't really see him. So this isn't really a very good picture. Now, here, Georgette, she sort of leaves it up to us to guess which one's Georgette. I'm going to guess it's this woman, but I'm not positive. Again, it's not that, it's not really a really good professional photo. Something else here to notice in both of these cases, there's another little test we'd look. It's like, how serious is this person? Well, you'll notice right here, it's telling us what is the, in the lower right of each profile, it's telling us what is the number of people that they're connected to. And if you're connected to less than 500 people, the actual number shows up. So you want to be a super connector on LinkedIn, which gives you 501 or more. If you have 501 or more connections, that will turn into 500 plus. So it at least shows that you're serious about using LinkedIn. You've got a network. You're probably somebody serious that's worth connecting with and trying to build a working relationship with. So that's just something else to point out. Here we're a professional development consultant, right? Professional development consultant, but she's only got 86 connections. It says something to me. I don't know about you, but anyways. So Peter Bruni. Now, I know Peter, and I can't believe this is true here. He doesn't have a picture. Now, he's selling storage systems at IBM. I'm sure IBM would foot the bill for $100, $200 photo shoot with a professional photographer here. Also, Peter has STG storage sales. So I guess if I was looking just for STG storage sales, if I knew that's what I wanted, I could find Peter. However, I probably don't know that. And there's probably value that Peter could offer us that we're not seeing because he's not telling us what value he provides. We come down to Alex. Alex is a real nice picture. I like that. He's telling us where we can find him, right? Give him the street address. He even got the zip code right there. So if we want to mail him, we are online, but we could mail him info right there. But he's not really telling us what we do. Why is he any different than any other financial advisor? He's missing the opportunity of that real estate. Now we can look at Robin. Robin, I help companies develop content-based marketing and social media strategies that grow revenues. I'd be interested in knowing more about that. I like to grow my revenue. So Robin is probably someone who, if you're in that market and you come across Robin online, she's someone that you're probably going to want to reach out to and say, hey, Robin, tell me more about that. How do you do that for me? How could you help me? We come down below here. We see Elisa has an MBA, but unfortunately she doesn't have a photo. So a lot of people on LinkedIn will just blow right by you if you don't have a photo. Curtis, when we look at his profile, it's not bad. I mean, the title's partner, doesn't tell us a thing. It doesn't pass the SOA test. And his photo is out of focus. So get a photo that's in focus. Donna, she's a writer of powerful LinkedIn profiles. It's awesome, right? And I know Donna, she does write profiles. She writes great profiles for people who are looking for jobs. I might tell Donna she needs a different picture. Although I would say this, because of her background here, her picture is going to stand out, right? So in between her picture and she's the writer of powerful LinkedIn profiles, she'd be somebody I'd probably check out to see if there was some way that Donna could help me improve my positioning on LinkedIn. Now, Todd here, no picture, doesn't pass the SOA test. Frank, he's the president of this company, does results-driven marketing, web design, SEO. So what he's done is, and a lot of people do this, and LinkedIn kind of tells you to do it. A lot of people will tell you to do it. He's kind of packed this full of keywords, right? Those are all keywords he's probably trying to get ranked for. It's not bad, but if you're talking to me, I'm going to tell you to put these keywords down below in your actual position descriptions of the different jobs that you've had. If you're doing all of these things, you might even want to have one of a job description, right? A position description in the section below for each one of the keywords. Nothing wrong with that. You can easily do that. And I wanted to show you Robin here. Robin Robbins as another example of someone who's taken and using LinkedIn pretty effectively. Robin, she's the IT industry's #1 marketing and sales expert. And she markets to, a bunch of acronyms, but the people who are those people, they all know what those acronyms mean, right? If you're a VAR, you're an IT service firm, you're a MSP, they all know what those things are. Now, the picture below that is really Robin's page, her actual her personal profile page, and we'll see that she's put a graphic, a background graphic up on her page that really does a nice job of putting it right out. Hey, this is what I do. Her flagship product is a technology marketing toolkit. She wants you to go there. She's going to give you information there. So if you're in that market, Robin's put herself in a position to stand out. So that's pretty cool. Now, going through all this, we've really discovered there's a few things that you need to really focus on to get your LinkedIn presence in good shape. And the first, there's really three, and it's really one 1B, and 2, right? 3 things: your picture, your name, and your headline. So you want a good professional quality picture. You want your name, not with a lot of stuff after it. We didn't really talk about that, but you want your name to be clear enough to stand out. And we want your headline. Your headline is really important to really describe the benefit that you bring the person who's looking at your profile. The next thing we would focus on, if we were looking at your profile, we'd be looking at your profile summary, the number of contacts you have, and then the next piece, when you have all those in, is to begin creating engagement with the people you're connected to on LinkedIn so that you become top of mind, giving them opportunities to reach out to you, to engage with you, because we want them to do that. We want to build our relationship on LinkedIn, and then the challenge will be to go from that to moving it onto our calendar. So those are like the 4 big things. Now, well, a lot of times I really don't like to leave people, at this point with a nothing to do. They say, oh, this is all great, but I'm not sure exactly how to do this, or I need some help, I need some guidance, I need some other feedback. I know myself, when I go to write about myself, like writing my own bio, I have a hard time. I could write yours, but I have a hard time with my own. So I do offer some, I want to offer some services. I hope that's okay. If you don't want to hear about any offers or any ways we can, provide you some additional value, now would be the time to leave the webinar. But I'm hoping you stay if you're interested. If you do want to hear more, just in the chat box, just type in yes, I'd like to hear more. And I'll tell you about this, and when we can see if this makes sense for you. Might or might not. But anyways, one of the things to do is a professional profile makeover video review. So basically, I create a video of your profile, right? So I go through, review your profile, and create a video with the recommendations of that. Now, that's a service that I charge $495 for. But this webinar, all right, I'm going to be real honest with you. Part of it is because I was out of the country for 3 weeks in July, building my business back up. Kind of the pipeline sort of dried up because I was getting ready to go, then I was gone. Now I'm back. I'm going to actually do that for you for not $495, but $295. And then we've talked about a lot of other things you want to do with your profile. So that's really the next thing I want to do, is look at what else I can give you that would really be of value. So not only that, but I do a 30-minute one-on-one strategy session with you where we'll talk about your profile, we'll talk about your LinkedIn strategy, we can talk about your big business strategy, we can talk about anything you want to help you create a clearer plan. I would charge $200 for that half-hour session. Then I'll also do for you, if you need this, a boost campaign. So if you don't have the 500 connections, I will do a campaign that will boost your connections with some semi-targeted, that would be, I'm going to call them more highly desirable connections, people who are connected to a lot of people. Build up your connection base to over 500. If you've got over 500, I'll still boost it up, but it's really critical if you don't have 500. I normally charge $395 for that. Then I do a 30-day engagement campaign for you. And an engagement campaign is where we're going out and we're taking advantage. I like to think of LinkedIn as the sales card file, that if you're old like me, you used to have a card file. And in your card file is how you followed up with people. Their birthday, anniversary, their work thing. It was like reasons to reach out to you. Well, LinkedIn has actually put a lot of that together for you. And in these campaigns, what we really do is we reach out to people. We like it when we congratulate them when they have a work anniversary, all those kinds of things. It's our birthday, whatever it is that we can identify on LinkedIn. They get a new job, we congratulate them. So we're reaching out every time we have the opportunity to those people, and it gets them kind of churning or in a flow so that they're also thinking about you. Then we do a 30-day update campaign. So that means for 30 days, we're going to do 3 updates a day. That's 30 or 3. That's 5 days a week, right? The business week. We'll provide updates on content that's going to help position you as a leader in your marketplace, right? In your industry, we're going to help you find that out. What are the kinds of things that people would be interested in? We're going to post that 3 times a day, which will create a lot more visibility for you, and it will begin to position you on LinkedIn as an expert in your field. And then the other thing that we do is we do a profile optimization, and that's really kind of the strategy behind all of this. Who is your target market? How do we identify them? How are we going to find them on LinkedIn? What groups do they belong to? All of those kinds of things. And then that actually, it's more than this, but it's about 300 and I think it's from 300 and or $3,659, something like that. It's about that. And I'm not going to charge you for that. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that whole thing for the $295. So not only am I going to do the profile makeover, I'm going to do the 30-minute one-on-one strategy session, I'm going to do the boost campaign, I'm going to do the engagement campaign, I'm going to do the update campaign, and I'm going to help you optimize your work and positioning on LinkedIn. And with that, I'm going to do it all for the $295. So that's, one time, get you going, and get you going for the first 3 months or the first 30 days, first month, and then we can talk about whether or not it makes sense. So if that's something that seems to appeal to you, you think you could take advantage of that, what you want to do right now is go to apex.com/webinar special. Again, that's apex.com/webinar special. And this is going to be good until the close of business on Friday. Again, that's apex.com/webinar special. And this will be good to the close of business on Friday. And if this makes sense for you, love to help you. Love to help you get going on LinkedIn. It's made a huge difference for me and my business. I was just telling someone today I'm looking at beginning a podcast. I hope to be able to launch here within about 5 or 6 weeks. And the next step for me is really to find the qualified people to interview on my podcast. And just on LinkedIn, through one message that I was sending out, I was able to generate 5 or 6 quality guests for my podcast, which is like a month and a half worth of podcast shows. And I also generated 3 invitations for me to participate on their podcast. I fill my calendar, half a dozen or so conversations a week from people that I meet, interact with on LinkedIn, and we decide to move it either to a conversation over the phone, over Skype, coffee, something like that, where I get to know them better. And one of the things we are able to do is look and say, hey, is there a reason, that we can do business together? And I really hope to be able to help you get in that same kind of position. So again, if you're interested in the profile makeover video review, that's me going through your profile, giving you my comments, my first reaction comments to your profile, and recommendations around those, pretty much giving you an action plan of, okay, these are the things that your profile needs, or some ideas on what you could do to make it better. We can always make everything better, right? So plus we're going to have a 30-minute one-on-one strategy session, right? The $200 strategy session. We're going to give a $395 boost campaign to get you into the super connector status. We're going to give you a 30-day engagement campaign, right? And that's a $775 value. The 30-day update campaign, 3 times a day. That actually, this is a misprint here. That's actually a $775 value, not $395, and the profile optimization is $999. So I'm going to give you all of that for investment in in your LinkedIn business, in your business of $295 one time. So just go on over, if this is something that makes sense for you, http://8pex.com. That's the number 8 PECKS.com/webinar special. And again, this will be good till Friday, close of business. So there you go. Have a great week. Hope this is something. If you have other questions, you could reach out to me on LinkedIn. You'll find me at LinkedIn/IN/Steve Peck. You'll find my profile. Just send me a message there, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks, and I hope you were able to get some useful content today, something that you can do to move getting your profile a little more solid, a little more of an attraction machine for yourself. Thanks. Have a great day.